Welcome to Faith Channel, nurturing, learning, and hearing.
So, Bob, thanks so much for joining us today. We're honored to have you on this show. You're my friend, my former funder, my mentor, and my former boss. Wow. Over 25 years.
25 years.
Man, that's huge. That's huge.
I remember when we met.
Yeah, so this is an honor and a privilege to interview you. Bob, your journey as a social activist and your tireless efforts in combating poverty and racial injustice had a significant impact. Can you share with the audience a little bit about your remarkable faith journey and how it shaped your work?
Well, it started really as I was involved in the civil rights movement when I became really disenchanted with the way the movement was handling poor people. I mean, we picketed outside of a business, and when they desegregated, they hired, 9 PhD chemists. And when we asked them to join our movement, they said they got these jobs because they were qualified, not because of the sacrifices of people on the picket line. And this happened a couple times. And I realized even back in the late 60s, I was in the wrong struggle. As Dr. King said, what good does it do to open the doors of opportunity if you don't have the means to walk through the doors? So it isn't just having opportunity. You must be personally prepared. And so resources I knew need to be spent helping people to prepare themselves to walk through the doors of opportunity. And so I changed the course of my life to work on behalf of low-income people of all races, but also to work with them, among them, helping them to be trained and helping them to better prepare to take advantage of opportunities that are presented to them.
That's inspiring. Can you tell us what the Woodson Center, the work that you do there, what is that about?
Well, again, when I left the movement and I went to work for different organizations to help low-income people, I was frustrated that most of those organizations, black and white, used 70% of the resources that they collected in the name of helping the poor on themselves and other professionals, and only 30 cents of every dollar went to the poor. And so I was unhappy with that, and so I said, I'm going to set up my own organization so I can change the way we help low-income people. So the Woodson Center was established to help low-income people in a way that most of the resources that are provided for them will be spent by them.
I like that. That's incredible.
So a lot of what I've done, though, is recognize that as you prepare, when you raise money, instead of 70% of it going to the organization, we make sure that the Woodson Center, the bulk of the money that we raised, goes to the people we serve as opposed to serving ourselves. And also, I think we have a unique way of going in and finding effective grassroots leaders that everybody else walks away from.
You just touched on a good point, and that point is, some of these stories. I know you've been doing this for way over 40 some years, and I know you have some memorable stories that you can share with our audience. And give us a couple of them, a couple of those nuggets.
Well, let me tell you the one that sticks in my mind. For the first 10 years of the Woodson Center, I really was established to help achieve social justice for poor groups and organizations. The whole faith element really was not a factor at first. But then I met Leon Watkins, a brother out in South Central, 62nd and Pico. He was living in a gang-infested neighborhood that was terrorized by the East Side Crips, 26-member gang that was terrorizing the community. And Leon, being a strong man of faith, put up wanted posters all over and to meet with the leaders of it. And so one Friday night, they pulled up in 2 cars, and Leon came down the alley pair of jeans on, a t-shirt with his hands out, walked up to the leader. He said, "I heard you looking for me. What do you want?" He said, "I want to talk to you about your life." They sat on a trash can for 2 hours. The next day, Leon had him in Bible study. And in 1 week, he had the whole 26-member gang in Bible study. And he transformed that group from being predators that are terrorizing the community to become ambassadors of peace that are helping to rebuild the community. Well, I marveled at what I saw. I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. And so I came around Leon and helped him to set up his not-for-profit. And I helped him raise some money so he can harness that relationship. And these young men went into businesses of clearing brush, painting stores, just doing a number of things. To me, this was a living urban miracle. And so it changed the whole course of the organization. I began to look deeper into finding other Leon Watkins around the country, people that through the faith in Christ have not only redeemed their lives, but they serve as a witness that redemption is available for anybody. And under the most unlikely circumstances, that Leon has done what prisons couldn't do, what police couldn't do, what social workers couldn't do, but yet Leon did it. And so I found Leon Watkins. I now knew what to look for. And so I have been, since that time, going throughout the country in low-income communities, and I've found people, and that same kind of person is a Curtis Watkins. I found you. You have the same qualities of a Leon Watkins. By the witness of your own redemption, you inspire other people to become redeemed. But it must be intentional. It cannot just be some volunteer effort that is done. That resources must be provided for people like you and the Leon Watkins. And so when you're talking about effective organizations ought to be built around individuals that have demonstrated that they have the capacity to redeem and transform others. And then what you do is you bring money and you bring training and administrative infrastructure around these grassroots entrepreneurs, if you would. And then you help them to grow their organization. I did this with Omar Jawa in Dallas. He was working inside of Gainesville prison, negotiating gang truce between warring factions as a prison employee. I said, if you can do this inside the prison, you can do it inside the community. So we put him on our payroll for 6 months, help him set up a not-for-profit, and then he went on to build an organization that had a budget of about $2 or $3 million. And then he hired a lot of the young people from the community and brought about peace in Madison High School and in other places. So that's typical of what the Woodson Center does to make a difference in communities.
I was going to ask you to, sum it up, and you just summed it up tremendously. I didn't even have to ask, you just did it. This has been a great interview. I thank you for sharing your wisdom, your insight with us today. And it's been an absolute pleasure having you on this show. Thank you, Mr. Woodson.
Thanks a lot, Curtis. I appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in. May you be blessed and continue to smile. Until we meet again.